Cover the what?
Vitruvius.
Lord Business.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 villain entrances in animated movies.
You might help me out of the pickle I'm in.
Hello, Rita.
Hello, handsome.
For this list, we're looking at the most unforgettable animated bad guys and girls who really know how to make an entrance, literally and figuratively. Which villain do you think made the biggest impact? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Hades, Hercules. Hercules begins with the muses singing, but it doesn't take long for us to head to the eponymous hero's christening. But the real man of the moment here is Hades, god of the underworld and wicked uncle in residence. Silhouetted against a pillar, this specter at the feast has all eyes on him from his very first line.
How sentimental. You know, I haven't been this choked up since I got a hunk of moussaka caught in my throat.
Zeus's little brother is clearly the black sheep of the family, but as he wisecracks his way through the disapproving guests, we can immediately tell that he is going to be entertaining.
How are things in the underworld?
Well, they're just fine. You know, a little dark, a little gloomy, and as always, hey, full of dead people. What are you gonna do?
Hades may be one of Disney's most charismatic villains, but as the muses warn us, you really don't want to get on his bad side.
He was as mean as he was ruthless, and that's the gospel truth.
Number 9. Gru, Despicable Me.
Light bulb.
Gru may not be a bad guy in the traditional sense. He is the hero of the story after all, but supervillain is his chosen profession. When we first meet our crafty protagonist, he's indulging in some everyday acts of villainy. Taunting a child, cutting in line, and threatening his neighbor in a mild-mannered sort of way.
You know dogs, they go wherever they want to go.
Unless they're dead.
It's dastardly behavior, but it's pretty funny too. The opening scenes quickly establish the character as a bit of a meanie, but Gru never does anything truly despicable. Plus, he looks so happy when he's causing mayhem that he remains stubbornly lovable. Number 8. Lord Ruber, Quest for Camelot.
Step right up and enter quickly. I'll transform the meek and sickly into Iron Men with hands of steel.
Gary Oldman voices the evil Sir Ruber in this Arthurian animated tale, and he's not the kind of villain you forget in a hurry. We first meet the renegade knight in a pivotal prologue scene, where he murders Sir Lionel, the father of Kaylee, our heroine. Masked and flanked by henchmen, Ruber returns years later to the family he wronged, but he's not there to make amends.
Nights of evil filled with fear. Your worst dream, that's my idea of fun.
There's a real sense of threat to his arrival, but as villain entrances go, it's pretty epic.
Knock, knock. Who are you? Ruber.
Kaylee manages to escape the antagonist's clutches, but not before she and her mom witness a dramatic song and the transformation of Ruber's cronies into weapons of war.
Every last bit of it will be
Number 7. Hexus, Ferngully, the Last Rainforest.
'Cause greedy human beings will always lend a hand with the destruction of this worthless jungle land.
Ferngully is an animated 90s film about fairies, but there are some deeper themes at play. The movie has an environmentalist message about the destruction of the rainforests, so technically the real villain is humanity. However, the devastating effects of pollution are personified in the character of Hexus, an evil spirit who's released when humans cut down the tree he's trapped in. This slippery bad guy slithers onto the screen in the form of a mobile dark sludge. But as he feeds on oil and smoke, he begins to take on a physical form. Tim Curry's seductive vocal brings the sinister spirit to life in a bluesy villain song that tells us all we need to know about the character.
Oil and grime, poison sludge, diesel clouds, and noxious muck.
Number 6. Hopper, A Bug's Life. A Bug's Life tells the story of a colony of ants who, every year, are forced to gather food for the grasshoppers, a horrible band of bigger bugs led by the one-eyed Hopper. From his first moments on screen, it is obvious that this is a villain to be reckoned with.
So where is it? Where's my food?
The tension builds as the ants realize that something's gone wrong, and they'll have to face their evil overlords. The grasshoppers burst onto the scene en masse, but it's Hopper alone who commands the room.
Are you saying I'm stupid? No. Do I look stupid to you? Let's just think about the logic, shall we? Let's just think about it for a second.
Twice the size of the ants, he leads by fear and intimidation, employing a cold intelligence and mocking wit to keep the ants in their place.
Hey, I'm a compassionate insect. There's still a few months till the rains come, so you can all just try again.
Plus, there's his savage attack sidekick Thumper. Number 5. Shan Yu, Mulan. In one of Disney's most atmospheric opening sequences, we're introduced to Shan Yu, leader of the Han army.
Now all of China knows you're here.
A lone soldier walks the Great Wall of China guarding his post when he hears the screech of a bird of prey. It's a warning call, signaling an attack. As the music ramps up the tension, a flurry of grappling hooks fly over the wall, followed soon after by their owners.
We're under attack! Light the signal!
The soldier rushes to light the beacon, but the enemy shows none of the same panic. When Shan Yu appears, he cuts an intimidating figure. His calm demeanor and cruel smile mark him as a real threat before he even says a word. And when he does speak, it's just enough to keep us intrigued.
Perfect.
Number 4. Cruella de Vil, 101 Dalmatians. All the best animated baddies have a villain song, but no one's introduction is quite like Cruella de Vil's.
She's like a spider waiting for the kill.
Roger,
Look
she'll
out
hear
for
you.
Cruella de Vil.
Composed by the husband of her old school friend, her theme might not be particularly complimentary, but it's definitely catchy.
Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil.
After screeching up the street in her fancy car, Cruella's shadow falls against the glass pane of Roger and Anita's front door. As she walks up the path, the anticipation builds until the door bursts open and she makes her big entrance.
Anita, darling!
Loud, crass, but indisputably glamorous, she is as camp as Christmas, an almost pantomime villainess. With her two-tone hair, cigarette holder, and fur, she acts as a stark contrast to the demure Anita and steals the show from the moment she arrives. Number 3. Syndrome, The Incredibles. When Bob Parr decided to take on some secret superhero work behind his wife's back, he didn't know he was being manipulated by a slighted fan turned supervillain. We first meet the freckle-faced buddy at the beginning of the movie.
Well, I finally figured out who I am. I am your ward. Incrediboy!
However, the next time we see him, the little kid who hero-worshipped Mr. Incredible has turned into Syndrome.
It's bigger! It's badder! Ladies and gentlemen, it's too much for Mr. Incredible!
Now, he's an evil genius with a grudge and some pretty awesome gadgets. His robot gets Mr. Incredible right where he wants him, but would he really be a proper supervillain if he just finished the job there and then? Of course not. So naturally, he reveals his identity and starts monologuing. But the initial reveal is still effective.
You sly dog! You got me monologuing! I can't believe it.
Number 2. Megamind, Megamind. The eponymous anti-hero of this DreamWorks superhero comedy tries hard to be the best villain he can be, but it's really not in his nature.
I'm afraid no one can hear you! What? Why isn't she screaming?
Miss Ritchie,
if you don't mind. Like this.
Still, after he finally succeeds in beating his rival Metro Man and taking over the city, Megamind celebrates with style. It's not the first time we see him, but it is an entrance for the ages.
Hit it!
Blasting AC/DC's Highway to Hell, the blue character makes his triumphant way up to City Hall. There's smoke, strobe lights, and a confused crowd of spectators, but Megamind is loving it. It's a shame his trusty minion gets the tracks mixed up, but everyone got what he was going for, right? Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Shere Khan, The Jungle Book. The tiger introduces himself to Mowgli with a scary solo.
That's what friends are for.
Scar, The Lion King. He plays with his food and our minds.
Life's not fair, is it? You see, I shall never be king. And you shall never see the light of another day.
Lord Farquaad, Shrek. He's short in stature, but he makes a big impression. Claude Frollo, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. The judge casts a long shadow.
The bells of Notre Dame.
The Other Mother, Coraline. Those button eyes would give anyone a shock.
You're just in time for supper, dear.
You're not my mother. My mother doesn't have
buttons?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Maleficent, Sleeping Beauty. We couldn't talk about villain intros without mentioning the original Disney party crasher Maleficent. She wasn't invited to Princess Aurora's christening, but we can all agree that was a mistake, and not just because she's fabulous.
I really felt quite distressed at not receiving an invitation.
You weren't wanted.
Not what? Oh dear, what an awkward situation.
After all, it's probably not the best idea to offend someone with the power to bestow a fatal curse.
She shall prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die.
The villainess joins the event once the good fairies have begun giving their gifts. An ill wind blows and a dark shape materializes in the room. The wicked fairy then does her worst. The distinctive aristocratic tones in actress Eleanor Audley's voice lend the character a terrifying gravitas, making her one of the most memorable Disney baddies ever.
Well, quite a glittering assemblage, King Stephen. Royalty, nobility, the gentry, and... how quaint. Even the rabble.
Maleficent definitely knows how to make an entrance. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.